Assalamu alaikum, dear student. Welcome to the online class. Hopefully, you are hale and hearty at home. Introduction of the teacher and class. This is Ibrahim Khalilul Laimon, Assistant Teacher in English, Alishohar Cantonment Public School and College. Today, actually, we are going to start our English second paper class for the students of 6 to 10. Dear student, today's our topic is changing sentence part 2. As you have got the changing sentence part 1, in that lesson you got the basic idea of changing sentences. So there we got so many important or basic ideas about the changing sentence, and we got the information, we got the difference between conversion and transformation also. So from this today's part, you will be able to be the master of changing sentences. So let's come to the learning outcomes. After completing this changing sentence, you will be able to know the different forms of sentences, and you will be able to know the rules of changing sentences. You will be able to change the sentences according to the directions. Finally, you will be able to cut a good figure in the examination. So, dear student, to be a master in transformations, changing sentences, you must follow the rules. So, following these sort of rules and utilizing in a sentence the right way, so definitely you will be a master in changing sentence. So, let's come to the rules. The first rule is for affirmative to negative. So basically, from changing sentence, this is very important for the student. And from this side, most of the questions will come out, whether it can be negative or whether it will be formed in affirmative. So let's come to the affirmative to negative sentence. So dear student, come to the rule first. That means rules 1. So the first rule is very easy. That is not plus antonym. That means here we can use not and antonym. So let me explain the rule. So there are some examples. Through examples we can get the form, get the rules very easily. So for example, the first rule is that what? Man is mortal. This is an affirmative sentence. So here we have to make it negative. How? By using not plus antonym. So here after, as man is the subject in this sentence and is a be verb or main verb, so that's why after be verb we have to use not, and the modifying word is mortal. So the antonym of mortal we have to use instead of mortal. So let's take answer. So the negative is man is not immortal. So here the changing, that means we have to use not and we have to use the antonym of the modifying word. So that's why in short we can say not plus antonym. So let's check some more examples. The sentence is he is attentive in the class. So the answer will be he is not inattentive in the class. So after not we use the antonym of attentive, the opposite word of attentive. That means inattentive. So let's come to another example. They are always punctual. So the answer will be what? They are not always late. So again, after be verb, we have to use not, and then the modifying word is punctual. So opposite of modifying word is late. So that's why we use late. So let's come to another last example. A day laborer's life is hard. So if we change it negative, the sentence is a day laborer's life is not. So again, after be verb, we have to use not, and the opposite of hard, that is easygoing. So we have to use easygoing. So dear student, this way you can make so many sentences, change so many sentences, affirmative to negative very easily. So if you follow this structure, so definitely you will get a good answer. You can change the sentences from affirmative to negative very easily. So besides, you will have to have the knowledge of antonyms, knowledge of some opposite words. So for your betterment, so let's come to the next. For your betterment, I will give so many, opposite words below. So here, dear student, নিচে কিছু ওয়ার্ড বা শব্দের অপোজিট ওয়ার্ডস বা বিপরীত শব্দ দেওয়া হলো. So I think it's better if you learn all these words, and these are very important for upcoming exam also. So here the given words and opposite words. So this way I have given so many common opposite words of I mean words of changing sentences. So now the first one, able, that would be unable, absent, that would be present, active, that would be inactive or lazy, admit, that would be deny, arrive, we can say depart or go, appropriate, the word is inappropriate, always, never, agree, disagree, attractive, disgusting, believe, disbelieve, bright, dark or dull. So dear student, this way you must learn all these opposite words so that you will be fully master of affirmative to negative. That means you can cut a good figure in this changing sentence. So let's come to the next. So here goes the second rule. So the second rule is বাক্যে ওয়ানলি বা অ্যালোন থাকলে তার পরিবর্তে ব্যক্তির ক্ষেত্রে নান বাট, বস্তুর ক্ষেত্রে নাথিং বাট এবং সংখ্যা বা পরিমাণ বোঝাতে নট মোর দেন বা নট লেস দেন বসে. So from this rule we come to know very easily in this sentence if there is only or alone. So in replace of only or alone. If it is person, so we can use none but. If it is thing, we can use nothing but. And if it is number or amount, so we can use not more than or not less than. So dear student, let's take the answer examples. Come to the examples. So here goes the example. The first one, affirmative. Only Allah can help us. So according to the rule, we can use none but, as Allah seems to be masculine gender. So that's why we can use none but. So instead of only, we can use only none but. Just none but we can use. The remaining part of a sentence will be same. So let's check the answer. Oh, same answer. So the negative is none but Allah can help us. Dear student, This is very easy rule. So instead of only, we just use none but, and nothing will be changed. So this, let's come to the next. Money alone solves the problem. So if it is thing, money is a thing, so that's why nothing but will be there. So that's why we can use nothing but money solves the problem. So dear student, one thing I can remind you, as alone is in the as alone is after the subject, but the nothing but we can use before the subject. That means at the very beginning of a subject. If it modifies subject, if it modifies the later part of subject or verb, so definitely it will sit before the words, before the modifying words. So let's come to another example. My father is only 60. So here the modifying was word is 60. So the before 60 we have to use the word. So 60 is a number. So that's why we can use not more than or not less than. Here goes the answer. My father is not more than 60 or not less than 60. Come to next. The brave alone deserve the fear. The answer is what? None but the brave deserve the fear. And I have only 50 taka. As taka denotes amount, so that's why here none, not more than or not less than 50 taka. So the answer will be I have not more than 50 taka or I have not less than 50 taka. The last answer. He has only a few books. So the answer will be he has nothing but a few books. You will be a bit confused because of few, as few indicating number, as few indicating number. So that's why you have been a bit confused. Don't worry, here the modifying words is books. So as it is things, so that's why nothing but will be there. So dear student, let's come to the exception. Bethichrome. So what will be the Bethichrome? That means the exception. So the sentence is you are the only person fit for the post. So the changing will be no other person but you are no other person but you are fit for this post. So in that case, there is an exception. Instead of only, we can use no other person, no other plus subject plus but. So dear student, let's come to the next. We have gone through the two roles. I think these are very easy for you, easy to understand. So come to the next. Rules 3. It's also very easy rule. এভরি দিয়ে কোনো বাক্য শুরু হলে তার পরিবর্তে দেয়ার ইজ নো প্লাস সাবজেক্ট প্লাস বাট প্লাস বাকি অংশ বসে। So that means instead of every we have to use two things. Instead of every, the first thing is that you have to use there is no, and the second thing is that after subject you must use but. শিক্ষার্থীরা তোমাদের বোঝার জন্য আবার বলি, এভরি দিয়ে কোনো বাক্য শুরু হলে তার পরিবর্তে আমরা শুধুমাত্র দুটো কাজ করব। প্রথমটা হচ্ছে এভরির পরিবর্তে দেয়ার ইজ নো বসাবো, দ্বিতীয়টি হচ্ছে সাবজেক্টের পরে একটি বাট বসাবো। দ্যাটস ইট। So let's go some examples. So the first sentence is every mother loves her child. So from this sentence we can explain very easily. So as I told, two things you have to do. Instead of every, you must use there is no, and after the subject, that means after mother, you can use but. So that means from this sentence we come to the answer. There is no mother but loves her child. So dear student, let's check the answer. There is no mother but loves her child. Oh, nice. So this way you can go through very easily. So let's check some other sentences. Everybody hates a liar. So this example is also very easy. So here we can go through after every or instead of every we can use there is no, and the subject will be same. After subject we can use but. Again the two things. So now come to another example. Everyone likes flower. So the answer will be there is no one. So again, instead of every we use there is no, and one will be same. After after subject we can use but. So let's check the last answer. Every rose has a thorn. So the answer is there is no rose without a thorn. So here the last example is an exception. So if there is in a sentence in the beginning of sentence we have to use there is no plus subject plus but this is an exception of every. So the last sentence will be the exception. What? Every rose has a thorn. The answer will be there is no rose without a thorn. So dear student, for the for the rules of for the rules 3, there are some alternate rules. We can use these sort of rules for every. So let's come. Every দিয়ে কোনো বাক্য শুরু হলে তার পরিবর্তে there is no plus subject plus who plus negative plus বাকি অংশ বসে. So from the earlier rules we come to know instead of but we can use who. If as who is there, so that's after who the auxiliary should be negative. So let's take some examples. The first one, every mother loves her child. So dear student, according to the rules we can say, instead in replace of every we can use there is no after mother. So that means there is no mother. So according to the rules we can use who and loves. Who loves? As the word is loves, so that's why it indicates present indefinite tense. The auxiliary will be does. So the answer will be every mother loves her child. That means there is no mother who does not love her child. So let's take answer. There is no mother who does not love her child. So dear student, here we did three things. The first one, instead of every, we use there is, no, and instead of but we use who, and because of who we use the negative auxiliary with negative adverb. So that's it, only three things you have to do. Let's take some other examples. Everybody hates a liar. So what will be the answer? There is nobody who does not hate a liar. And everyone likes flower. So there is no one who doesn't like flowers. So dear student, for the rules of every, there is another alternate rule. So let's come. Every, all, are দিয়ে কোনো বাক্য শুরু হলে তার পরিবর্তে no plus antonym. As we have got the first rule, not plus antonym, it is similar to this one. So because of, in replace of every, we can use directly negative word and then antonym word. So let's take some examples. Every mother loves her child. There, in replace of every, we can use no mother, and loves, in replace of loves we can use hates, the opposite word, that means antonym words. Everybody hates a liar. So in the place of every, we can use nobody, and in the place of hates, we can use the opposite word loves. So the answer will be nobody loves a liar. And come to another one, a patriot loves his country. So instead of are, we can use no patriot. Instead of loves, we can use hates. That means negative, that means no plus antonym. Easily we can get the answer. So let's take some of the example. All men are mortal. So instead of all, we can use no man is immortal. So in the place of mortal, we use opposite word immortal. He turned all the stones. So here he turned. That means instead of turn, we use the negative word. We use the word left. And instead of all, we use no. And after no, we can use antonym. That means stone and turn. That will be unturned. Turn. That will be unturned. So that's why there are also no plus antonym we used. So dear student, I think you have understood very easily, and these are very easy if you go through the so many practices. So definitely it will be very easy for you. So let's come to the another example, another rules. The rules 4. কোনো বাক্যে must, have to, has to, should থাকলে তার পরিবর্তে cannot but plus verb base form বা cannot help plus verb ing form বসে। So in simple or in simply we can say if there is must, have to, has to or should in a sentence, in replace of them we can use cannot but plus verb base form, or we can use cannot help plus the present participle form of a verb, that means ing form of a verb. So dear student, you can be a bit confused. Why? So listen here. So after cannot যেহেতু বাটটা ভার্ভ না, তাই ক্যানট এর পরে আমরা একটা মূল ভার্ব আনতে হবে। আর এখানে দেখি ক্যানট এর পরে একটা মূল ভার্ব দেওয়া আছে, আর আমরা জানি মূল ভার্বের পরে যদি দ্বিতীয় ভার্বটি বসে সাধারণত সেটি আইএনজি ফর্ম বসে। তাই এই স্ট্রাকচারটি এভাবেই হবে, যদি ক্যানট বাট বসাই তারপরে ভার্বের বেস ফর্ম হবে, আর যদি ক্যানট হেল্প বসাই তারপরে ভার্বের আইএনজি ফর্ম হবে। So dear student, let's take some examples. So the first example, we must obey our parents. Very easily we can give the answer of negative. So the negative will be instead of must, we can use cannot but. If we use cannot but, so the verb won't be changed. That means we cannot but obey our parents. If we use cannot help in the place of must, so the obey should be changed into obeying. So let's check the answer. So the answer is there. So we use here cannot but, so that's why the verb will be base form, and cannot help, so that's why the verb will be ing form. Simply we can get the answer. So let's go some other examples. I have to go there. The answer will be I cannot but go there, or I cannot help going there. You must yield your fate. So come to the answer. You cannot but yield your fate, or we use you cannot help yielding your fate. So let's come to the last question. He should consult the doctor. So the answer will be he cannot but consult the doctor, or we use he cannot help consulting the doctor. So this way we must go very easily. So let's come to the last rules. Rule 5. So that is also very easy. If there is sometimes, in place of sometimes we can use not always. Or if there is always, so in place of always we can use never plus antonym. So dear student, খুবই সহজ এই রুলসটি। কোনো বাক্যে যদি সামটাইমস থাকে তার পরিবর্তে আমরা নট অলওয়েজ বসাবো, আর যদি কোনো বাক্যে অলওয়েজ থাকে তার পরিবর্তে আমরা নেভার প্লাস অ্যান্টোনিম বসাবো। Let's take some examples. So the example, he sometimes comes here. So here the word sometimes, so that's why he does not always come here. So the answer will be what? He does not always come here. He does not always come here. The poor are sometimes happy. So that means the answer will be the poor are not always happy. So dear student, only instead of sometimes we can use not always. The last question, he sometimes smokes alone. So the answer will be he does not always smoke alone. Here goes another example. So for the second rule, আমরা জানি অলওয়েজ থাকলে তার পরিবর্তে নেভার প্লাস অ্যান্টোনিম বসে। চলো শিক্ষার্থীরা কিছু এক্সাম্পল দেখে নিই। So the first one, always speak the truth. So that's why that will be never tell a lie. So instead of always we use never, and instead of truth we always lie. So প্রিয় শিক্ষার্থীরা, এখানে তোমাদের একটা প্রশ্ন থাকতে পারে যে এই ক্ষেত্রে স্পিকটা পরিবর্তন হয়ে টেল হয়েছে কেন। সো আমরা জানি বিভিন্ন বাক্যের ব্যবহার থেকে আমরা জানি যে ট্রুথের সাথে সবসময় স্পিক বসে এবং লাই এর সাথে সবসময় টেল বসে। সো যেহেতু ট্রুথের পরিবর্তে আমাদেরকে লাই বসাতে হয়েছে, তাই লাই এর জন্যই আমরা টেলটি এনেছি, যদিও স্পিক এবং টেল এর অর্থ একই। সো দ্যাটস ওয়াই we can take lie, we can take tell because of lie. So the answer will be never tell a lie. So come to another example. I always remember you. So the answer will be I will never forget you. So instead of always we use never, instead of remember we use forget. That means antonym. Always help the poor. So the answer will be never neglect the poor. So that means never plus antonym. I always agreed with him. So the answer will be I never disagreed with him. So instead of always we use never, and instead of agreed, the opposite of word of agree, we use disagreed. So dear student, that's all about the rules from affirmative to negative. So there's few rules remaining, so hopefully we will go through them in the next class. So I request you, if you go through all the rules with so many examples, and if you understand all the rules and practice for several times, so definitely you can be a master of transformation. So dear student, let's come some examples. Change the following sentences from affirmative to negative. So the student, you'll be given these sentences for changing affirmative to negative. So if there is the sentence is affirmative, so you must change it negative. If the sentence is negative, so you can change into it affirmative. So actually these will be given for your practice. So dear student, you must practice those 20 exercises from affirmative to negative or negative to affirmative. And I hope or I believe very easily you will understand, and you will be skilled in changing the forms affirmative to negative. So let's come to the your homework. So the homework will be for you. There are three homeworks. The first one, you must read the rules again and again. And the second homework, do the board question of the year 2015 and 2016. And after that, try to solve them according to the rules. So dear student, that will be for your homework, and thank you very much for enjoying the class with me. Thank you.